There we go. All right, we're good.
Meeting is in session. First item on the agenda, we are going into our tax budget hearing. So I'm going to go ahead and open the hearing and see if there's any comments from anyone in the audience. And before I do that, actually, Greg, you're going to provide us with some commentary on the tax hearing?
Yeah, so annually we are required to present a tax budget. This is not a financial budget. Essentially it is letting the county auditor and the board know to continue collecting the tax at the rate that they're collecting for our village. Again, like I said, this is not a financial budget, but it will get us our first certificate later in the year. So we've looked at the numbers through a little less than the first half of the year, tried to review them and estimate what will be through the remainder of the year, and then we will start on our temporary budget in a few months.
All right, thank you. Any input from those up here? We do this annually. Pretty common practice. All right, any input from those in the audience? Alright, if not, I will go ahead and close the tax budget hearing and we will move on the agenda. Alright, thank you. Alright, so let's go ahead and stand for our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Tara, roll call.
Councilmember Jones.
Here.
Councilmember Keith.
Here.
Councilmember Pringle. Here. Councilmember Ring.
Here.
Councilmember Bachman.
Here.
Alright, thank you. Alright, so we have some special events going on tonight that we're going to jump right into. And first and foremost, I am excited to swear in one of our newest officers, Mackenzie Ratliff. Mackenzie, if you would like to come forward. Chief commentary before we swear her in.
Well, so she's already started. She's doing a really good job, and I'll speak more on that after her swear-in. She comes to us from Bethel. Got some good experience. She handled some investigations and some field training in Bethel, and that's already showing here in Georgetown. So we're glad to have her and see what she can do here in Georgetown. So.
Fantastic. Alright, I'll come on this side.
I got two of these here for you, one for her copy and then one for her, just so that I have
I'll do it after the Alright, raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state, sorry. That was my fault. I state your name.
I, Mackenzie Ratliff,
Solemnly swear
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the Charter and ordinances
the Charter and the ordinances
of the Village of Georgetown,
of the Village of Georgetown,
and will obey the laws thereof,
and will obey the laws thereof,
and will faithfully, honestly and impartially discharge the duties of a member of the Georgetown Police Department,
upon
upon which I am about to enter. Awesome job. Congratulations and welcome. Pictures, family pictures as well, if anybody would like any.
Let me get R2D2 out of the way here. Thank you.
Okay, good. All right.
Ready to go ahead?
Yep, and then Sean has some additional
You can just
words.
stay up here.
Oh, okay.
In the essence of time, it might be easier just to get all my officers up here at once, so if you guys could come up. Maybe line up right there. Somewhere. Might be good. I'm not used to lifting podiums in my life. So we're doing all right. Like I said, in an effort to save on time here, I'm going to read from the presentation that I made just to keep me on track from going off on a tangent here, because I tend to do that sometimes. But As law enforcement officers, we will never be paid what a profession is truly worth. No amount of money can ever compensate for the things we see, experience, and endure throughout our careers. We understand this is often a thankless profession, and for the most part, we expect nothing in return. What we do have is the dash. The dash is the time between the day we pin on the badge and the day we retire. For example, 2007 to 2033. The small line in between there represents the entire career. Within that span are thousands of calls, countless sacrifices, victories, failures, lessons learned, friendships built, and lives changed. Over time, we tend to forget far more than we will ever remember. Recognition is not a payment. It's the responsibility of those in leadership to occasionally stop and let our people know that they've been seen, their efforts matter, and that they're appreciated. The accommodations being presented today are not for one extraordinary event or a single heroic act. They represent the type of work our officers perform every day, often unnoticed, frequently unrecognized, but never unappreciated. Most good officers will spend their entire careers remaining humble, never expecting recognition. In fact, many of us become uncomfortable when we're thanked because to us we're simply doing the job we signed up to do. And it brings me back to the dash. A personnel file should tell the story of an officer's career. It should contain more than training certificates, evaluations, and disciplines. It should reflect the moment that defined that officer's service, the difficult calls, the leadership shown, the courage displayed, the compassion given, the lessons learned, and the accomplishments achieved. When an officer retires, they should be able to look back through that file and see a story of their career from beginning to end. The commendations I present today are examples of that story. These examples I'm going to explain are not the commendations I presented today. These are just some daily examples of what we go through that are often unrecognized. Recently, Detective Pendleton, Sergeant Baker, and I assisted the Ohio State Highway Patrol after a vehicle pursuit entered our village. A known felon, possibly armed, fled into a heavily wooded area during the extreme heat wave. Our officers deployed the UTV, less lethal options, and our drone in an extensive effort to locate the subject. On July 6th, Sergeant Baker responded to an unresponsive male complaint that quickly turned violent. While investigating, he was pushed by the subject, engaged in a physical struggle, and after the suspect attempted to flee, he successfully used his taser to safely take the individual into custody. Then, on July 7th, Detective Pendleton and Officer Price was called out again to assist with a rolling domestic violence just outside the village limits. When the suspect fled on foot into the woods, he worked alongside with the Brown County Sheriff's Office, deploying our drone unit to help and assist in successfully locating and apprehending the individual. These are just a few examples. There are many more incidents. Some I've forgotten, others I may never even hear about. Every shift presents new challenges, new dangers, new opportunities for officers to serve this community with professionalism and courage. Over the past month alone, our department has responded to several major incidents and multiple use of force situations. Most will never receive formal recognition because quite simply it's the job. We all understand that not every act deserves commendation or we would be here every day. But sometimes it's important to pause and acknowledge the professionalism, dedication, and courage our officers demonstrate day after day. Those moments deserve to be part of that dash, the story of a career dedicated to serving others. And that's what we're going to do here today with our first commendation for Officer Ratliff and Detective Pendleton. It's a commendation on great work. This is the first time I've had to swear in and do a commendation on the same time, so good job. At the recommendation of Detective Pendleton, it's my privilege to recognize Officer Mackenzie Ratliff for her outstanding performance, professionalism, and dedication during her first night of patrol and field training with the Georgetown Police Department. On 6/21/2026, while assisting Sergeant Timbers and Detective Pendleton on two separate high-risk incidents involving combative individuals experiencing altered mental states, Officer Ratliff demonstrated exceptional initiative by immediately assisting fellow officers in safely bringing both situations under control. During one of the incidents, Officer Ratliff was deliberately spit on in the face while assisting the arrest of the combative subject. Despite being assaulted, she maintained her composure, continued performing her duties without hesitation, and assisted in completing the arrest professionally. Her ability to remain disciplined, focused, and professional under those specific circumstances reflects exceptional character and is a quality that exemplifies the standards expected of a Georgetown police officer. For a newly sworn officer to display this level of courage, professionalism, and commitment on her very first night of patrol is extremely commendable, and I thank you for the way you behaved during that. During the same incident with the same female involved, having possible suicidal ideations and altered mental state, refusing to exit a swimming pool, and exhibiting increasingly combative behavior, without hesitation, Detective Pendleton, alongside Officer Stone of the Hammersville Police Department, entered a pool in full uniform to safely remove the suspect and protect her from further harm. While being lifted from the pool, the suspect actively resisted and attempted to strike Detective Pendleton with her elbow. Detective Pendleton's willingness to place himself in harm's way to protect the safety of the suspect, fellow officers, and the public demonstrates exceptional courage, sound judgment, and professionalism. And these I printed for you two today, and we'll get pictures at the end. Moving on, it's my privilege to recognize Officer Owen Hunter for his decisive actions, professionalism, and courage during a high-risk domestic violence incident on June 25th, 2026. Officer Hunter responded to an active physical domestic violence call involving two suspects where the suspect fled on foot upon his arrival. Without hesitation, Officer Hunter pursued the suspect into a nearby field where the suspect ignored repeated lawful commands, advanced toward Officer Hunter in an aggressive manner, and displayed behavior consistent with preparing to assault the officer. Recognizing the immediate threat and backup not yet on scene, Officer Hunter utilized his taser to help stop the suspect's aggressive actions. After having a failed attempt in the use of the taser, one of the victims came into the field with the officer and the suspect. The suspect began again engaging with the victim. Using quick judgment, Officer Hunter had to physically take down the suspect, bringing him into custody with minimal force and without serious injury to him, responding officers, or the nearby victims. His quick decision-making and sound judgment brought a dangerous and rapidly evolving situation under control while protecting two victims who had sustained injuries during an assault. As a job well done. Thank you. And along with that call, as most of us knows, when seconds count, your backup's usually minutes away, right? Mm-hmm. This next commendation, Sergeant Baker, commendation on great work from another supervisor. This is at the recommendation of Detective Chase Pendleton. It's my privilege to recognize Sergeant Baker for his outstanding dedication, leadership, and commitment to duty during an incident on June 23rd, 2026. After completing his scheduled shift and while off duty, Sergeant Baker heard over the radio that officers were struggling with a combative juvenile. Without hesitation, he immediately returned to duty to assist his fellow officers. Upon arriving on scene, Sergeant Baker utilized his experience to help safely bring the situation under control. As the juvenile actively resisted, officers attempted to injure himself by striking his head against the cruiser partition. Sergeant Baker assisted officers in safely securing the juvenile in a restraint rack, protecting both the juvenile and the responding officers from further injury. Sergeant Baker's willingness to return after the end of his shift speaks volumes about his character and his dedication to Georgetown. He didn't have to do it, but more importantly, this incident is not an isolated example of his commitment. Time and time again, Sergeant Baker has remained beyond his shift, returned while off duty to assist fellow officers whenever needed. He's always picking up extra shifts or in the office during random times when he's figuring out ways to help better the agency. You will hear more about this coming up in this last commendation. Thanks, George. This last commendation is a group commendation for all the guys standing in front of me here. It's my privilege to recognize the exceptional teamwork, professionalism, and dedication displayed by the members of the Georgetown Police Department during an armed home invasion and a domestic violence investigation. On 6/30/2026, myself, Captain Green, and Officer Hunter responded to reports of a male suspect entering into an apartment while armed with a handgun. They threatened to kill the occupants, physically assaulted the female, kicking her down a flight of stairs, destroying her phone to prevent her from calling help, and they fled the scene before officers arrived. Through a coordinated response and assistance from multiple agencies, officers arrived on scene and immediately secured the victims, collected critical evidence, developed suspect information, and saturated the area in an effort to locate the armed suspects. The investigation ultimately led to the suspect being located and arrested by the Middletown Police Department before being transported back to Brown County by Sergeant Timmers and Officer Ratliff. This incident showed the professionalism and dedication of every officer involved. Captain Jesse Green, he provided the leadership and oversight during the investigation, ensuring resources were coordinated and the incident was managed effectively. Officer Hunter, he responded immediately to the scene, assisting and searching for the armed suspect. Detective Chase Pendleton, who was off duty, was called in to assist in the criminal investigation, conducting detailed victim and witness interviews and suspect statements. As mentioned earlier, although Sergeant Baker was not on duty, he was at the police department, walking around probably doing something. I'm not sure he's always here when he's off. Heard the call come over the radio in plain clothes, recognized the seriousness of the incident, grabbed my radio out of the office, a vest, and responded to the area to help search for the suspect. His willingness to place himself back into service on a day is off without hesitation signifies his commitment to safety of the community and his fellow officers. I don't think any of you guys know that he did that. I found that out after the fact. Likewise, Sergeant Maggie Timmers and Officer Mackenzie Ratliff were not on their scheduled patrol shift. As they were returning from a court hearing when they heard the call over the radio, without hesitation, they responded to assist the incident. Later during their shift, transported the suspect back from Middletown to Brown County following his arrest. It demonstrates the same commitment to duty and teamwork that has become expected of both officers. This incident put them around 17 hours for that working day. That's more than 2 normal people 8-hour days at one time. That's commendable. This incident serves as an outstanding example of what can be accomplished through external and internal teamwork, communication, and shared commitment to protect our community. Every member placed the mission and the safety of others above personal convenience, sleep, their uniforms, their schedule, and everything else to ensure a dangerous armed suspect was successfully identified, apprehended, and returned to Brown County.
Thank you.
I appreciate your guys' work more than you guys will ever understand. And we truly are a team.
I know you got some pictures, but I certainly want to say that I appreciate this too. You know, it's a thankless job. I think I heard you say it a couple of times, and I'm really proud of this team. So I think you guys work well together, and I appreciate what you guys do. So thank you.
Jesse smile.
Thank you guys.
Any family pictures?
You guys want
Yes,
to get
come
a
on up.
picture with?
Yes, she does.
Yeah, come on up. Rick, over here. Listen,
Come on, Miss Tina.
I took the most time here. You'll be fine. Just go ahead.
Say champion, get her up.
Oh yeah, I'll give one just then first.
What are you doing? Trying to be a kiss?
No. You wish.
Next.
Mackenzie, can you sign that? Gotcha.
Thank you guys so much, and thank you for the families who come out tonight and support your people. We certainly appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
All right, 1 second, guys. Let's kind of reorganize for just a second. Okay. All right. It's always fun to do those things. It's nice to see people being recognized for what they're doing and for the exceptional work. So thank you, Chief, for bringing them in and doing that. We appreciate it. Okay, is anyone here tonight for public comment? No? Okay. Alright, I was gonna bring that first before we did the next item, if that was the case, okay. Alright, so we're gonna move along to our candidate interview. So as you guys know, we have a vacancy on this council, and we, in the last meeting, we decided to kind of put out our agenda of how that would be filled, along with people submitting letters of interest. And then during this meeting, we were hopeful to be able to do some interviews. So I know we have a couple people here tonight for those interviews, and that's certainly what we want to walk through and work through as a council here. So just since a few of you are new, what we typically do is, and for the folks here for the interviews, we would like to ask that we'll interview one person at a time, and then we will ask that the other person step out in the hall. It's not, you don't have to, but we like to ask that. And then we'll kind of give them some questions based on the information that we have, that person in front of us, and then we'll ask that other person again to walk out in the hall. Again, not mandatory, but if you would like. And then we'll ask the other person questions, and then typically we will take an executive session, go in, discuss after we do all the interviews, and then from there, if we so choose, and there's an idea of a direction that we want to go, we would appoint that person tonight. So doesn't mean we have to appoint, it just means we can. I do believe we have up until later this month, I can't remember the date, the next meeting.
We would be fine to appoint at the next council meeting.
Okay, alright, so if I can, I'm gonna start with you, Cody. Can you state your name?
Cody Hicks.
Cody Hicks,
Steve Swanson.
Steve Swanson,
And I'm not eligible,
not,
but prosecutor's been.
okay, thank you, appreciate that. Yeah, and unfortunately, that based on just time of residence, and,
It's no big, like I said, I appreciate the opportunity, ladies and gentlemen.
well, we're glad to have you, certainly.
Thank you.
Alright, so I will start with Mr. Swanson. So I think we'll go through some questions with this gentleman. And Cody, if you wouldn't mind stepping out in the hall. Gregory, grab the door. Cody's gonna get it. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Alright, so
That's great. That's so cool.
I never leave. So, Mr. Swanson, if you want to start, why don't you give us some information about you to this council? Let us know maybe some things about yourself, where you work, what you do, and why you want to be on council, and then we'll go from there and ask some questions, I'm sure.
Well, I've lived here in the village about 8 years now with my family. Currently a transportation supervisor for a school district. Had experience managing for probably the last 10 years, with a lot of budgeting, a lot of decision making. I'd like to be part of the council if there's something in my background that would be of benefit.
Okay. Alright, and tell us a little bit about Georgetown. What you like, what you do.
I like the history and the small town charm, and just the rural feel of it.
Definitely. What's important to you?
As far as
If you're on council, what are some of your, do you have agenda items, or are there anything, is there a focal point, something that you're highly interested in?
just an overview of like the budgets and stuff. I'm not saying anybody's doing a bad job at that. Just as far as like equipment, vehicles, that's something I specialize in, and I'm not sure how much of use that would be, but.
Yeah, definitely your transportation background certainly would be of value by all means. This group up here, what are some questions that you were interested in asking of Mr. Swanson?
Mr. Swanson, first of all, thank you for applying.
Yes.
Can you just talk briefly about any experience or what you have in collaborating with a larger group that may have members, let's say, that may have a different viewpoint or a different opinion than you do, and how you work through that?
I can encounter that pretty often you know, with working with different departments, where I'm at now, between, you know, different responsibilities, you know, you've got to sit down, decide who's responsible for what. And there's always a lot of conflict because nobody wants to do more work. You know, everybody always tries to kind of pass the buck. And, you know, usually end up coming to some kind of agreement, you know, mutual with both parties.
Thank you.
Other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Swanson, often we are asked what can be done better or differently. Can you name something that Georgetown is doing right?
I mean, I think it's moving in the right direction as far as a lot of the construction projects. There was definitely a lot of that I think that was needed. Excuse me. Especially like the Village Square, the revitalization of that. I think that'll turn out nice.
Thank you.
Anything you would change or do differently in general with the town?
Not that I can think of at this time.
Okay. Other questions?
Well, just an additional, what do you, as a public figure, obviously people are going to approach you with, you know, complaints or issues or problems. How do you see yourself handling those kind of things, or seeing good or bad publicity on Facebook or social media about that?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, you just have to listen. You just have to listen. And, you know, I've been on that side of it before. You know, being in transportation, you're moving somebody's kids around. You get parents on the phone, you know, screaming at you, and a lot of negative social media posts sometimes. You just gotta figure out how to address it and move on.
Thank you.
All right, questions for this group? I'll pause and come back to you because you might have a couple questions for us.
Nothing I can think of at this time.
No? Other questions from you?
During your transportation supervision, how many employees did you supervise?
At the highest point, about 20.
Any other questions from this group?
You guys took all the good questions. Thank you for coming, Steve. And have you been in any other organizations or part of groups or committees or anything in the past that be outside of work or?
No, I have not. This is first attempt at doing something like this. So.
Well, we applaud your willingness to do it. It's a little similar sometimes, a little similar to being a police officer or an EMS worker. It's sometimes a little thankless, but it's challenging and it can be fun and it's rewarding. So certainly, you know, that's something to consider. But the fact that you're sitting in front of us and have raised your hand, we commend that, certainly. All right. Anybody else? Again, no questions for us?
No, ma'am.
All right. If you so choose, you could step out into the hall and then we will interview our next candidate. Hello.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Doing well.
All right. So Cody Hicks.
Cody Hicks.
Absolutely. So we commend you for, again, raising your hand to be on council. Certainly appreciate that. So let's go ahead and start this, and you tell us a little bit about yourself and why you are choosing to be a part of this council.
All right. Well, first, let me say good evening to everybody. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to be here. Appreciate it. My name is Cody Hicks. I've had a service-centered career through healthcare, military, and education. I've got a bachelor's in business administration, a master's in healthcare administration, so no stranger to a balance sheet and other operational tasks like that. I believe my education experience has given me the ability to listen, communicate effectively, and approach challenges with a respect, collaboration, and desire to find the best outcome possible for all parties. Most people run for office, local office especially, out of dissatisfaction. It's not the case, quite on the contrary. I think everybody's doing a great job. I'd be proud to work alongside everybody in this room. As far as that, just thank you again for your time and consideration for the spot so far.
Well, thank you. So tell me, if you were a part of this council, is there something that you're interested in, something that may be a focal point? What's important to you?
Well, what's important to me, God, family, and country, those three, in that order. I don't really come with any personal agenda or anything like that, just to be of service to, the council and the village of Georgetown.
Fantastic. I'll open it up to the group here. What questions do you have for the group? Or for Cody, I apologize.
Mr. Hicks, thank you for applying. Can you talk about whether it's background or your thoughts on working with a larger group that may have some differing viewpoints and how you would work through that in order to achieve an outcome?
Sure. Obviously, there's not a perfect one shoe fits all. You're going to have disagreements. Definitely a utilitarian, whatever the majority of people are feeling. Even if that's all of you and I'm the only one opposed, then obviously I'm wrong. Or if I'm on the right side of things, then hopefully I'm on the right side of things. Again, you can't please everybody. You don't have to be rude, and you can be tactful and let them down easy. Do it. As far as working with others, though, I like teamwork. Collaborate well. I'm a musician. That's always a team task. You're never going to get on stage by yourself. So definitely a team player, especially being a military guy and all that. No stranger to a disagreement or anything like that either. So hopefully they don't happen, but they do.
They certainly do.
Well, just because that you might not be in line with what everybody else is thinking, that's your own opinion, and you can stick to it. And then this team is not going to look down upon you for that. You have a vote just like we do. So that's not a bad thing.
I think I've learned over the years there's always multiple answers, multiple ways of doing things. It doesn't make one answer right and one wrong, but there's multiple ways to get there. So.
Agreed.
Jessica, thank you for that question.
Mr. Hicks, often we're asked what needs improved or what you would fix. Is there something you feel that Georgetown is doing right?
That you're doing right? A lot, actually. Just little things, taking care of the square. I see there's a lot of people with a lot to say about that. I see the mayor in the comment section defending the points about some bricks that people are real upset about. I think communication's always an issue, but I think you guys do it very well. I mean, I'm an outsider, but I feel like I still stay in the loop of what's going on. So, I commend you for that.
Have you ever been involved in situations like a small government or anything within the area that you've worked or anything?
Not other than military service, no levels of government or anything like that.
I have another question, Mr. Hicks.
Yeah.
What would be your first goal or your first task if chosen to be on this council? Do you have something in mind?
Task-wise, whatever needs done, whatever, I'm a man of service, like to just, like the old George Orwell, I want to be thoroughly used up when I die. As far as a private, maybe something I would want to go for, maybe something in the music realm. I know I run the Georgetown Guitar Club. We've been together for 8 years this month, actually, which is pretty exciting. And one of the questions I get, even from visiting people, is there anywhere to busk? Is there anywhere to set up and play guitar and put a tip jar? And I always say no, because there's not a place, but maybe get some kind of out in Vegas, they have a busking permit where they screen them first. They don't just let anybody set up and make noise. But maybe doing something like that for the community would be awesome. Give some of these young kids that can play and sing very well an opportunity to showcase that a little bit.
Great. Other questions?
Mr. Hicks, can you talk about your ability? Obviously, if you are on this council, there's going to be people that approach you and want to talk to you about various issues, rightfully so, because that is your job as a council person to represent the public. You might get good or bad commentary on Facebook.
Sure.
Can you just talk about how you feel like that's something, or how you would deal with that or handle that as it's comes through?
Sure. working at the local high school here, I feel like I've gotten really good at kind of, de-escalation, or at least, I don't want to say dodging the point, but if I'm not, necessarily the right channel, or I don't have all the information, it's easy to satisfy somebody with an answer of, I don't know right now. I don't, but I'll get that answer and I'll get it to you. Especially if, you can feel things escalating, try to take a step back and go about it a different way. But, I don't think I would have any problem, defending a point or anything, like that.
Good question. What questions do you have for us?
What's the schedule look like? I mean, are you guys, does it, work every day? Is it the meeting, I think they're counseled twice a month?
Mm-hmm.
What's that look like for you guys?
So absolutely. So the set schedule is that the meetings happen or occur on the second and fourth Thursday of each month at 6 p.m. And occasionally, when there's something going on or something big that needs to happen, we will have a special meeting, and we work together to schedule that based on calendars that are up here. And then outside of that, I'll let this group speak more to kind of what your work culture looks like around being a council member. And Jessica, maybe I know you are pretty active, and not that anyone up here isn't active, but maybe you can speak a little bit to that.
I do work in the middle of town, so often during the week I'll pop into the admin building just to see what's going on, if anyone needs anything from me, how I can help. I do feel like it's kind of, you make it what you want it to be. Some weeks I feel like I'm doing a lot, and some weeks it don't seem like there's a lot going on.
Okay.
But I really do feel it's, you put in what you want to make out of it.
Jay, I know with being a new council member, you've done a lot of work with educating yourself and kind of coming up to speed, which I've been very appreciative of.
Jessica made a good point where, like, there might be a week or so that goes by and you don't talk to anybody, and you're like, but then there's weeks where you're talking to quite a few people. You're at the administration building a couple times. These fancy little tablets here, I can wake up in the morning and Tara and Travis, like, there's not much today, and then the next day there might be 14 emails that came across, and sometimes it's directly related of something that's going on right here in the village, but a lot of the stuff that goes on with all of the utilities that happen at a higher level, state level or whatever, Travis does a good job of getting that information from the big companies down to us and shares it with us, to where if it's something that we have to be aware of, we can do things to try to advocate for the village, whether it's reaching out to a senator or, because I did that. And it was, I don't really know if I got real far, but one of them called me back, talked to me on the phone, a couple of them emailed me, a couple of them were their assistants talking, but yeah, there is sometimes you're up there 3 or 4 times a week. I think sometimes I'll go up there, and Travis probably wants me to leave because I'm there too long, but yeah, and then there's other weeks where but it's fun. These things right here, the emails and if it's something you feel passionate about, then you'll probably act on it, and so, yeah.
I think the word there is it's what you put into it, right? It's what you want to make it.
Yeah, and the ridicule part is, there's a lot out there, so.
You gotta have thick skin to be in these roles, and try not to pay attention to that stuff. That's my best advice. Sometimes
We leave it up to her to comment. You notice I don't comment. So.
I'm not much of a commenter, I promise, some days. But it is what you put into it, and I think different council members do it different ways, and I think they're all right. Again, coming back to having multiple answers of how to do it, the thing is we all work together very well. And some choose to do, if you're not as familiar with the different departments, some choose to do ride-alongs or choose to spend a couple hours in a department just to get more familiar, and that's okay. Some choose to learn more of the regulatory side of it. Jessica's all over the board. She really enjoys the entertainment side, but she loves the educational side and learning more and learning as much as possible. Tony has been a big resource with just knowing the community, knowing what's going on. Same with Jeremy. Jeremy's been around, and Andy's been here too, as well, as long as me, right, Andy? We've been in this community a long time. So everybody brings a different piece to the table, and I think that's really cool. And what I really love about this council is that everyone really works together as a team. And that's something that's truly, truly important to me, that we all operate and work together as a team, and we can have different opinions and different ideas of what needs to happen, but at the end of the day, we do what's best for the community.
I've found that you do a lot more research. You hear people talking about, okay, there's a problem, so you don't bring it up, you just, okay, make a note and go research that for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That way, when we do discuss it, I have an opinion of what I found, and the other council members, they have their own opinions, and we kind of get together and get a consensus of what needs to be, what direction, what needs to be done, and try to get things solved. You can't please the whole town. Right. It's not gonna happen.
No.
But we try to do the best for the village.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And sometimes you have to separate what you would want to do personally in your own home or see done. Because there's some things I would say nope, or you gotta stop and say, you gotta research it and then decide, well, maybe there is a point to a certain way, you know, whether if it's gonna impact the community as a whole, because it's all about the people, so. And, you know, I like to have my own opinion and I'm always right, but when it comes to this, you gotta kind of slow down and be like, okay, I'll listen. Listening is probably a really big part of it, so.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Any other questions? All right, well, you can have a seat and maybe, Mr. Peters, thank you so much. And is there an executive session in here? All right. So again, thank you to both of you for raising your hands. And that's not something everyone is willing to do, to step up here and sit up here and help make the decisions, right? Mr. Peters, thank you again. Certainly appreciate it. We did have a couple other applicants too as well. Unfortunately, those applicants either did not live in the village long enough per the charter for the Board of Elections, or didn't actually physically live in the village. So those two things certainly will make you ineligible as well for this. So having said that, what we typically do is take a brief executive session, have some dialogue between ourselves, and then come back out. Again, if we so choose to go in a certain direction at that point, we will. But it's up to this council whether or not you want to go into an executive session.
I'd like to make a motion to enter into executive session pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 121.22G1 to consider the appointment of a public employee or official.
Councilmember Pringle has made the motion. Is
I'll
there
second.
the second provided by Councilmember Jones? Tara, roll call.
Councilmember Jones?
Yes.
Councilmember Keith?
Yes.
Councilmember Pringle?
Yes.
Councilmember Ring?
Yes.
Councilmember Bachman?
Yes.
All right, motion passes. So we're gonna go next door. You guys are welcome to sit right here. Restrooms are out to the left.